glad to be here. When
show.
I come into the block,
so
it be
excited that you guys are all
like
here for
above
me
and G-O-D,
on my
and it ain't gonna stop, cause we
show.
on
Oh
that
my
stick
goodness.
it,
But
it
it's very
work. Take it to
significant
the
that
head
it's
for the
number
Lord,
2
yes sir.
because
I really feel it in my
they is
nerves,
also
making it hard for
my
me not to
second
serve.
wedding
Cause I'm in
anniversary.
the
Yes,
parking
I
lot,
know.
bumping to the
Keep
bass
clapping,
beneath
keep
your
clapping.
feet.
Now I don't know, my producer won't talk. What, Courtney, what you want? Courtney, you on there? I heard him talking. Okay. Oh, I'm good to go. I'm in here jamming to the Brely Show. Everybody meet Courtney Clark. Let's give it up for Courtney Clark. That's my producer. He's usually like very silent in the background. And I'm like, don't be silent. The people need to know that you exist and that you're there on the ones and twos, okay? Good morning for you West Coast folks. It is 10 a.m. So guess what we're doing? We are starting the Brely Show, but I like to call it Water Walker Radio. Get your t-shirt, get your t-shirt. And for you on the East Coast, good afternoon. Because it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you probably just got done listening to one of my favorite girls, Christina Johnson, one of my favorite girls in the world with Love and Light Radio, that lunchtime hour. She had a fantastic show today talking about credit, y'all, talking about us being good stewards over what God has given us. And, you know, and how about for those of us who are entrepreneurs and for those of us who work those 9 to 5s, trying to figure it all out, because they didn't teach us this in high school. They didn't teach us credit in college. I think you ought to go back and listen to the show for sure so that you can get some tips from her fantastic guest she had on. He was just dynamic, he gave me some tips. Did you guys know? I'm gonna give y'all one tip I heard towards the end of the show, which was, did you know that when you get a credit card, you are only supposed to spend about 30 to 35% of the balance of the entire card? I had no idea. That's how you get them to call you and say, hey, would you like for me to increase your balance? Oh my God, you guys have got to watch the show. Dynamic, fantastic. Now it makes me want to buy another house. I was like, I didn't care about my credit for a long time because I was like, I ain't buying another property. I'm not buying another car. So I was just being lackadaisical with my credit because I was like, I'm not buying nothing. So I'll gladly put my social security number down on anything because I was like, if you want to try to get some credit, go and try if you want to. Still mine. I don't need LifeLock. But Christina's show was power packed today about how to do what's right when it comes to your credit. Okay. So please go back and listen to the show on 108 what? Praise Radio. I have to do it that way every time I say 108 Praise Radio. I have to do my neck. I'm sorry. So this morning I like to do my house cleaning. You know that we fast on Wednesdays. Wednesday is a fast for those water walkers who are riding with me. If you are riding with me, we fast on Wednesday. It's the day that we turn our plates down. And you know what? I say turn our plates down, but I'm really going to have to change that because I've noticed it's getting easier and easier for me to turn my plate down. So what that means is it's time for me to implement something else. You see, I took that dramatic pause after that. Something else. I have a hard time moving my body. That's why I do my Move Something with Brely events, where I invite you guys to come and dance with me or come take a exercise class, a kickbox class, whatever it is, or come walk with me at the park. I do those things because I need the motivation. And I said, you know what? I need to put some Jesus in this because I am really not moving my body the way I should. Therefore, I need to put that in my fast because it's becoming easy to go and turn that plate down and drink some water for a few hours. I'm like, no, I need to challenge my spiritual life. I need to have to rely on God to get it done. So I'm challenging you to join me, whatever it takes, whatever it's harder for you to do. I want you to choose that as your fast. We fast from the time we wake up until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And adjust your times wherever you are in the world, because I know I even have some people from Australia that tune in, some people from Africa that tune in. What's up, my Botswana people? I want you to adjust your times. But on Wednesdays, we fast. So whatever that means to you, turning down your plate, moving your body, getting in your word for a good 15 minutes to 30 minutes. I don't know what it is. I want you to choose it. I want you and God to know what that thing is that you are putting in the sacrifice so that he can bless it later. That's the only way that thing really works. Is that all right? Is that all right? I said, is that all right? That's the only thing about radio. I can't hear you, y'all. Unless you call in. Don't forget to call in today. If you'd like to be a part of the show, this is an Ask Me Anything show. So the calling number is 770-988-6461. I want you guys to call in and ask me anything. I also wanted to do some other housekeeping. You know, I also called today. I don't spell very well. I'll be telling y'all all my business. I don't spell very well. So it's Water Walker Wednesday, of course. And I went to write that down or type it somewhere. And I was like, Wednesday, child. I couldn't spell that thing right. And then as I was writing, it said Win, Wednesday. I was like, oh, that's how you spell Wednesday. W-E-D, witness. I said, witness. Hold on. It's the day that we're going to witness. Get it? So that's how I now know how to spell Wednesday, because I've broken it up into witness day. So we're going to witness WITNESS on today. So please call in with your testimonies from the week. What's been happening in your life? I'd like to know. I really want to hear your testimonies. Again, my show is about strategy, motivation, and testimony. It's time for us to see signs and wonders in the land of God and what he's doing for his people. And as we share our testimonies, other people will be blessed and other people will be encouraged. Other people will be inspired and motivated and ignited to get out there and get out of the boat and become a water walker. That's why I wear my I Am a Water Walker shirt every Wednesday. It ain't the same one. It's clean. Y'all know I ain't got no sense. I ain't got no sense at all. So call in with your testimonies as well today. Witness Wednesday. That's right, Kim Anderson. How you doing? We're also live, you guys. If you would like to go live with us, make sure that you log on to 108praiseradio.com. Download the app. It's on Facebook. And please share. I'm asking you to share this on your Facebook pages, on all your social media platforms. Let them know what we're doing over here, because we're trying to get some. I want a shirt. I'll make sure you get a shirt. I want to make sure that everybody knows how to find us, because what's the point of putting out good news if can't nobody hear it? So the Water Walker shirts are $20, and all you got to do is DM me your size, small, medium, large, extra large, and make sure you let me know if it's a man or woman, because there's a different cut for the men. So DM me on Instagram, and you too can rock your Water Walker t-shirt. And then I also want to open up the floor to you guys who have businesses, whether you're an entrepreneur or you work for a company and maybe your company wants to advertise with us. We actually have options. I actually have over 100,000 followers, and like almost close to 200,000 when you put Facebook and Instagram together. So, and now adding on the YouTube, because this is also going into YouTube. You want to get in front of some people? I would love to do a voiceover for you. I will personally do the voiceover, or you can send in your own commercial. We are actually going to be running your commercial when my show's on and in between other shows. So before Christina's show, there's a plethora of other wonderful shows on 108 Praise Radio. So you can actually be heard all day, heard about all day. So we want you to DM me, email bookbrely@gmail.com if you'd like to find out our advertising scales, prices, and they're very, very affordable. So we want to promote you. And then if you do it with me, I'm going to make sure I not only get you on the radio rotation and get you in rotation, your commercial and everything, but I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to have you on the show. What? You're going to be a guest. So we're going to really promote you. So it's all about getting you out there and making sure that our sphere of influence knows what you're doing and knows that you're alive and knows that you're doing good business. Because we also go now, hold on now, because we also going to tell on you if you don't do good business. Can somebody hear me? Can anybody hear me? If you don't do good business, I want y'all to call back in and say, look here, you done promoted them and you done gave them all them props. We done went with them, and baby, they didn't do good by me. So this gonna be the new kind. This is a spiritual Better Business Bureau. Y'all with that? Hey, 108 Praise Radio Better Business Bureau. Don't you do no bad business, because we're going to tell somebody. Love you so much listening on my lunch break. Oh, I love that. Awesome, awesome. So you guys, ask me anything. All of you who are logged on, this is a dialogue show. I will tell you that I was on listening back to my show a couple of weeks ago when we did our anniversary show with my husband. And we had our pastor on that married us, Pastor Danny Knott, and we had Carl Gilliard, the twice married brother. He's actually been married 3 times, but I like to call him thrice married. He'd be like, that's not my name. But he's the twice married brother. And we also had Dr. Gloria Morrow on. That is the counselor that my husband and I go to for marriage counseling and personal individual counseling. And if any of you would want to listen back to that show, it was fantastic and dynamic. We talked about finding the one and staying married. You know, that's a thing to do for those of us who are single, who were single. Honey, I know what that, hey, 3 times a charm, girl. We know what that life can be like when you really desire to have someone. And we also, for those of us who are on the other side of the fence now, who are married and are finding out that the enemy don't like marriage, honey. He coming at you every which way he can. How you can create your village around you so that you can stay married. I want to offer everybody this too, who are getting married, maybe know somebody planning a wedding. I started a new thing at my wedding that had never been done before. After my husband and I said our vows, we turned to everyone in the church. Literally, like turn. I wish I had a video clip to fly in, like right there, for those of you who are watching. And maybe I will one day. We'll figure that out. Courtney, write that down for another show where I can fly in a video or something. So after we did our vows, we turned our backs to the pastor and looked at the audience and basically employed all of them to raise their right hand and get married with us. Marry this union. Now, you guys are here to throw rice and send love and show your support. But when we're talking about leaving each other, we want you guys to be right here, like you are sitting in these seats. We want you to be here to say, y'all work it out. Y'all, let's talk about it. Let's find a solution. Let's not talk about problems and issues. Let's talk about solutions. So I'm hoping that anybody who's hearing this, who's getting married or wants to be married, planning a wedding planner, offer this to people. And you can tell them you got it from Brely Evans. I said, no, everybody in this room going to get married on today too. You're going to marry into this union because you're not going to be here when we're going through. And like, yeah, you might have to get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? And there were times when I was like, what did I do? But it's natural, I'm finding out. And I'm finding out as you challenge yourself in Christ, you actually strengthen your relationship. So as you gurney up and put on your full armor every day in the Lord, and that enemy comes for you, comes for your marriage, you ready for him. You're like, okay, come on, sucker. You take that one little hit. You like, that's all you got. You know what I'm saying? So you actually as you strengthen yourself in the Lord, your relationship actually gets stronger. So I got a question. Here we go. How you know the right one if they come in? How do you know the right one if they come into your life? All right, that is from King. I don't know how to say your name. Kingo married. Okay, I'm not going. The great. Somebody the great. How do you know the right one when they come into your life? Well, let's see. I'll just tell you my process. I went on a man fast. That's a new one, right? I went on a man fast, and that man fast consisted of not being exclusive with anyone. I decided I will not date anybody solely, an exclusive monogamous relationship with anyone, because I was like, I'm not married to you. So I'm not going to give myself totally to someone when I'm single. So that was one thing I did. I went on a man fast, but that didn't mean I didn't date. I did date. However, my dating style changed tremendously. Meaning I dated several guys. I would do a different guy every day of the week if I could. I would also not allow any gentleman to come into my home. And that was new for me. I was like, and another girlfriend, Raina Joy Banks, I love you. She is the one who told me or suggested that's what she was doing. I said, oh, now that's good. Now that's kind of rocking the boat a different way. She said, I don't go to their homes and they don't come to mine. So we go out, movies, dinner, fun activities, whatever, but we don't cross each other's threshold. So that is really, 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 really great position to put yourself in, whether you're a guy or a girl. I don't do people's homes. That ain't where we date at. We date out in the world. And I loved group dating. Group dating was also fun. Meet up, because you should be really finding a friend, finding a best friend, and nurturing a foundation of a relationship. So you find the right one when you're doing all of those things as a single person, enjoying your single time, and one person stands out. When that one person stands out, they take up your time, they monopolize your energies, they are making sure your needs are being met, they are there, and they just push out from the crowd. And it's nothing that, and somebody who is playing with you won't take the time to invest in you that way. So someone who is, and that's exactly what Joseph did. I was so surprised. I was like, this man is calling every day, night, morning. I went to Africa, and that's a 24-hour difference. Honey, he was on that WhatsApp like it was regular phone. He was making sure to stay in touch. He did not care that I was halfway across the world. He wanted to be in touch with me. And he really pushed out amongst the crowd and ended up putting the ring on it. So that's how. I felt in that area, but hey, it's a new day, man fasting time. Come on. I'm telling you, again, the Brely Show, you're going to find strategy, testimony, and motivation to get the things that God has promised us in this lifetime. That's what water walking is about. It's about living your best life right now. It's not about waiting until you get to heaven over to glory to have your mansion. No. Why not have a mansion now? Why not own something now? Why not enjoy the fruits that God has put on this earth now? Why not be a witness for him to what he can do in your life now? It's kind of the reason why I said yes to this radio show. I had done a radio show some years back, and it was called The Brely Show as well. It was on Urban Soul Radio, and hadn't did it in a while. So when Christina and Courtney came to me about being on 108 Praise Radio, I took the leap of faith and said, you know what? I got to get what's in me out by any means necessary. So whether that's in the acting world, in the doing motivational speaking world, whether that's in the radio world, I've got to get this stuff out. So I could not turn down the opportunity to tell somebody the goodness of the Lord. And so logging on with me right now, if you're watching either on the app or on Facebook, you can see her. She's coming in now because my cousin, Stacy Audrienne, is coming in. She has a question for me this morning, and she's going to ask me a question, and we're going to see what she's talking about. Let me see if I can hear her. We'll test the mic. Testing 1 2 1 2. I can't hear her yet. So we'll wait till she logs on and I can hear her voice. And I'll go to another question. I saw some other people putting some question up. Let's see. Oh, that was a comment. I'll read your comment. It says, marriage is a village of friends and family. They should be there to help even in the not so good times. I completely agree. What is the point if you're out there on your own alone and you don't have friends and family to support? But I will say this, one thing that I've learned in my short 24 months of being married is you actually shouldn't talk to your family. I know that sounds bad. You should actually talk to your Get counselors, wise, godly counsel. Wise, godly counsel, I'm telling you. You should also talk to, people who have been there before. That's why I call Carl Gilliard. My husband calls him. Like, that's why we talk to people. Friends are I don't know why they kind of trump family when it comes to being your village in a marriage. I don't know why that is just yet, but I'm learning. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you and I can see you very well. Can you raise your camera and bring it closer to your face?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to do right here. Yeah, right here.
If you get it, yeah, I see you perfectly. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Everybody, I have Stacey Audrey in. She is a dynamic woman of God, number one. Number two, she is a mother. Number three, she is an author. Number four, she is a dynamic singer-songwriter as well. And she has a book out in the market called Unstoppable. In the
face of no agreement.
That is the name of her book. Please log on to Amazon and get yours, not now, but right now. It's called Unstoppable. Not only, you can even put my name in on iTunes, and my name, putting in Brely Evans on iTunes, will bring up her CD. You want to know why? Because I wrote a song on it.
Right. Ridiculous blessings, ridiculous blessings, ridiculous blessings. That's what they are.
You don't know how it got done.
You don't know where it came from, more than you could imagine. Ridiculous blessings. Thank you, cousin.
Snippet that shot. Go to iTunes. Like I said, you can put in Stacey Audrey. If you can't spell that, put in Brely Evans. You know how to spell that. And you will find her CD. Pick that up. It is the soundtrack to the book Unstoppable.
Yes,
that's my cousin with this Unstoppable platform, and her platform has transcended that which she wrote the original book about. She wrote the original book talking about her struggles in life and how she overcame everything from losing family members to drug addiction. And she is here to be transparent about it.
Yes.
I'm so proud of her for trusting her with such a dynamic story and her sharing it. Like, cause some people go through stuff and be like, I ain't gonna tell nobody about that. But she actually tells her story in a fashion that you're gonna be like, wow, you really get to know from her start to where she is now. Cause she's far from finished, I'll tell you that. And so this Unstoppable series is coming up with, she has several books on their way out. Unstoppable Parenting. She's a parent from basically almost birth, and her single parenting has developed into a young lady who is now off at college doing the absolute most, but even before she went to college, was getting monies from all these different organizations because of such a dynamic young lady she raised.
Yes.
Her Unstoppable Parenting book will be out soon. Stay tuned for that. Make sure you follow her on her social media pages.
Yes.
Then her next book that she's working on is Unstoppable Legacy.
Oh, that is so powerful.
And that's where I must stop and let you ask me whatever question you want to ask me in that realm of Unstoppable Legacy, because we're going to talk about that today.
So, question with Unstoppable Legacy that basically, do you have your last final arrangements done? Do you have your family, your kids, your grandkids in mind with the things that you are building on today? Who do you have in mind? Is this for you for right now?
Yes, and my toes are curling back in my shoe, and my eyelashes are coming off, and my wig is going back. Because you know what, cousin? Here we are grown. Y'all know I don't do age. For those of you who always ask, how old are you, Brely? I play between 19 and 35. Sometimes.
Right.
But we are to the point where we need get it together.
Yes.
It is so incredible that she is asking me, for those of you who are on live and didn't hear her clearly, she has asked me, do I have my arrangements together? Mm-hmm. Do I know where my house is going when God calls me home?
Yes.
Do I know who's going to take over? Who's going to? I'm sorry, it's a little loud or something.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. Do I know how things are going to be distributed? Do I know how my funeral is going to be paid for? Like, oh my God, the things that I do not want to think about, let alone talk. And so, cousin, I have to say, no.
Wow.
I don't. I do not have any of those things in place at the right now.
Right at the time.
And I can't be the only one out there. I can't be the only one out there that that doesn't have it together. But I'll tell you, my grandfather just passed away last week, and as we are, and then you guys know, a couple of months ago, my mother-in-law, mother-in-love, I like to say, passed away as well. So we have been going through this whole dynamic of how to resolve their estates. And I'm at a loss for words with it. I was really talking until you got settled. Are you settled?
Yes, thank you.
I'm just like, so no, I don't have the insurance policies in place. I don't have the living trust done. Like, let's just start at the beginning. Because
it's a lot. It's a lot. You know, it's always taboo because no one wants to talk about death. And death is as real as life. Like, we are not all going to live here forever. Look at Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin was in her 70. God promises us 70 years. She lived 6 years after what was promised, you know? And so we can go anytime before 70, you know? And so it is important for us to have our last will and testament, you know, done, and our trust done. That's very, very important, especially when there's a lot of people involved. A lot of people die, they have children. The children fight over the property, they fight over the money. Everybody wants to liquidate, divide, and separate. You know what I mean? And that's not always good.
Let's talk about that right there. And if anybody is of any other descent who's watching the show, please feel free to call in. Again, the number is, Courtney, where you at? The number is, I know the number. I want to make sure you guys have it. The number is 770-988-6461, 770-988-6461. So I know that I've asked my parents, hey, you know, what to do if something happens to you. And my dad's like, everything is taken care of. Everything's taken care of. He kind of brushes me off. So I'm, okay, there's no, you know, and then my mom, I hear her, what's your social security number? I need to put your name down on this or that, but I still don't know where to go find the paperwork in the house if something should happen. Like, I don't know those things. And maybe if I do them for myself and my parents see me doing them for me, maybe it'll prompt them, you know, maybe I'll be the lead, you know what I mean? Getting things in place. Yeah. And I was going to say that if any of you are of different descent other than, we're going to talk in terms of African-American. Yeah. That's what we know. And we know what happens. And I love that because we know what happens in these households. And let us know what's happening in yours. But it has been our experience that when, let's just say the grandparents pass, because they usually go first, that there's this divide the money up. And let's just talk about that in particular. First of all, anytime you put that word divide in the midst of family conversation, you already know it's a problem. Yeah. Yes. Because it's divide and conquer. If we stay together, we cannot be conquered. But as soon as we divide, we can be conquered. Stacey, talk right up in there. Stay within that parameter of the division that comes amongst the African-American family when they want to sell Big Mama's house. So I am sitting in the middle. Let me repeat, in the middle of a gentrified neighborhood in West Oakland. This community used to be thriving with Black businesses, Black people. So because of the divide and separate, when Big Mama died, everybody divided, took their money and left and went and left. Now I'm sitting in a community where there is nothing but white people. Me and two other people are the only Blacks.
on our block. Okay? This is what happens when you divide and separate. You're not a powerful people anymore. And I'm looking at it. Like, I'm looking at it. I get along with everyone. I love white, black, brown, purple.
Yeah, we love everybody.
5 years ago, I looked up and this was a Black community. And 5 years later, this is now, I won't even say a diverse community. This is white and Black. I don't see Mexicans. Oh, we have some Asians down here. But when you divide and separate, you're really not doing that. Okay, I'll put my own business out there. I had to bury my parents and then bury their parents. So I did have an inheritance coming on my dad's side of the family. Now, if my dad had been alive and they divided and separated, my dad would have gotten approximately $350,000.
Wait a minute, stop there. Did you just say your grandparents would have left your dad, who is not an only child, upwards of $300,000?
We had over $1 million in assets. So my dad would have had to split $1 million with his 3 brothers, which is 3, 6, 9. They all got $350 apiece.
Wow.
So because my dad.
And I have a quick question in between there. Your grandparents, are they originally from California?
Oh, no. They are from a small town called Holdingville in Oklahoma. And then my grandfather was from Monroe, Louisiana.
So they migrated to California and started a life here with nothing.
Nothing. Yes.
And was able to leave a legacy of over $1 million for their children.
Yes. They started off in the projects in Oakland called Brookfield. It's called Brookfield.
Stop right there. I need y'all to hear this. They started off in the projects. Do you see how I'm just breaking you down because I need somebody who's in the projects right now to hear this. This shows our motivation, testimony, and strategy. Come on. I need y'all to catch this. I need y'all to catch it. I need y'all to be tuned in. Come on. So they migrated from the South. What was their education like?
So my mom's parents, they only had a 3rd and 4th grade education. My dad's parents, they did graduate from high school. They had a high school, no college, high school.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So minimal, just very basic education. Started off in the projects. Now, where did they go from the projects?
So from the projects, they bought a house that was still in Brookfield. And then from Brookfield, they built their house from the ground up in the Oakland Hills.
So they bought a piece of land.
They bought land and built their home. Got an architect to build it the way they wanted and built their home in the Oakland Hills. Yep.
Wow. And then how many years later was it that they passed on? So how many years? They were in that house. It was built in approximately.
The house was built in 1970.
Oh, wow. So it's a 40-year-old.
Yeah.
About a 40-year-old home.
Yes.
So in 40 years, they were able to acquire this $1 million to leave to their children. So they had an inheritance of over $300,000 for each child.
Yeah, and the $1 million was the house, and the other part was investments. We had stock in Facebook. We had stock in General Motors. We had stock in Apple. Yeah.
I need y'all to hear this.
Their money was invested.
I need you to hear this.
It's called generational wealth. And that's what we have to teach. Generational wealth.
I know nothing about stocks and bonds. That's another area where I'm lacking. But see, I'm not on here to talk about, I'm here to get the knowledge and then do something about it. So don't be mad when I'm rolling in the millions and we all started here together.
Right.
They say, you do better. You know better. When you know better, you do better. So this is the day that we're going to do better. So we hear that these grandparents got basically a high school education or less. They bought land. They built property. They invested monies. Facebook. Which was the other one?
General Motors.
Apple. And then they were able to leave their children upwards, each of them upwards of $300,000. Because Stacy's father had passed on already, Stacy and her siblings were able to receive her father's portion.
Yes.
So you skipped him because he had passed away. Now, what did you and your siblings do with the money that your father's parents left you?
So what I did was I was living in my mother's parents' home, the home that I'm sitting in right now. And I took my money that I got from my inheritance on my father's side, and I put that money into the house that I'm sitting in now, which looks like this. Wow. I invested it back into other family property. I didn't buy a car. I didn't buy a TV. I didn't buy jewelry. I didn't buy a Gucci bag. I didn't buy a Prada. I put my money in where I could see it.
Woo! Okay. So what I just learned there was when we come into large sums of money, we must put our money into an investment that will eventually pay you back.
Correct.
Do not buy a car. Do not buy clothes, go on vacation. Actually try to put that money into something that will be tangible for years to come, that will create an inheritance for your children. So I remember when you got your first check, cousin, and you were debating on whether to get an apartment. Do you remember that?
Yep.
I think I'm going to move out. And even if it was going to be a house, she was just going to rent. And so I said, I stopped you and said, wait a minute. Let's do the math on a rental, if you will. Because what you don't want to do to your friends and family is tell them what to do and shake a finger. You don't want to go that route. You want to say, oh, you're going to rent something? Well, then let's later on out. Y'all ready? Let's do some math. Let's do some math on the Brely Show this morning on 108 Praise Radio.
Hey!
Let's just say, cousin, give me a number. How much are the rents in Oakland right now?
$2,000.
$2,000 per month times 12. That's a whole year. That is $24,000. Approximately, how much did you get in your first installment of your inheritance?
My first installment was $58,000. My first check was $58,000.
$58,000. So let's take this $24,000 minus $58,000. She now has $34,000 left, which means she has about 2.5 years of rent. That goes to show you if she paid nothing else, not a utility bill, not a car note, not a buy no food, not go to a movie, not do anything else, she, out of that $58,000, she would have had 2.5 years of rent alone.
Yep.
And then her and her baby would have been on the street.
2.5 years later.
2.5 years later, she would be homeless or looking for a 9-to-5 job
to take. And that's what I say. Sometimes there's situation, because see, I've had both. I've had the situation with my mom's parents where they left me 2 houses. And so we kept one, we rented it out, we were landlords, and then we folded it. Sometimes you do have to sell the property. Sometimes you do. In my father's situation with his parents, we had some greedy in-laws that were involved. And so we had to divide and separate. But if you have to divide and conquer, invest the money, invest it. But most people take the money, they go buy cars, they go buy this frivolous stuff. A car is not an investment. Let me be the first to tell you. It depreciates as soon as you drive it off that lot. You understand? So a car is not an investment. What I did putting that money into this house that I'm in now was called a long-term investment. I didn't need to see nothing right away because this investment is going to help my daughter. It's going to help her kids.
What's incredible about where Stacey lives now is when her grandparents passed on, like she said, they left 2 homes. One they did liquidate, and this one they decided to keep. This one, Stacey has taken her investment dollars and done renovations out of this world. She's added on rooms and bathrooms and walk-in closets. She's remodeled the kitchen. She's added a deck. She's remodeled bedrooms. She's refinished floors. She's painted walls. She's added crown molding. Y'all, when I tell you she's put new appliances, stainless steel. When I tell you her grandparents are probably, they are rejoicing. They are rejoicing in heaven like, yes, this is what the Bible talks about when a good man leaves an inheritance for his children and you train up a child in the way they should go. This is what she's showing. Imagine what her daughter is watching. Imagine her daughter saying, oh, okay, we're not supposed to sell mama's stuff. I'm supposed to invest it. I'm supposed to find out how to make it grow.
Yes.
Like, it just does my heart so good to know, to be a witness to what your grandparents have left you. And that's your grandparents, not even your parents. How about that?
Right.
It's the generation. And so
it would have never come to me had my parents still been alive. And that's what I tell people. I'm blessed, but don't be jealous, because I had to lose everyone.
Woo!
Literally everyone.
Yeah.
Getting this. My grandmother used to say to me, Grandma Gladys, February 4th, used to say to us all the time, don't you be jealous of what somebody have. And I never understood that until now. You know, I had to sacrifice. I had to lose.
Lost your entire older generations. You have to lose them in order to be in this position. But I'm so grateful for how you are being a good steward over what you were left. Because, you know, property is the biggest investment anyone will ever make in their life.
Yes.
And I know this very well because I used to sell real estate, y'all. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Brely Evans was a real estate agent with Keller Williams before I became an actress. I was literally selling property. And I even sold property before I owned any. So I had no idea the dynamic that some of my clients were going through when they were buying property, because I hadn't done it yet. But let me tell you, by the time I had sold my first multi-million-dollar property, I sold a $5 million property, and the person I sold that to looked me in my eyes, took her time to look me in my eyes and say, Brely, when you get this commission check, I need you to invest it. I mean, she held my hands and took her time with me and said, don't you get this money and just go live your life like it's golden. I need you to go invest this money. I am now sitting in my home that I purchased with my investment dollars from a sale of a real estate property that was $5 million. And the check that came from that was $80,000 for selling that property. And because I was a very new agent at the time, I had to have a very mature agent work on the deal with me. So I went 50-50 with that agent, because where else was I going to make $40,000 in 30 days? Legally, let's be clear. So that, I was able to pull in my mentor, Norma Streams of Keller Williams. She's no longer
Norma Streams.
Yes. And we went half on that. And with my 40 grand, I was able to purchase a home. And not only my 40 grand, my credit at the time. And I say at the time, because Lord, back then my credit was 777. That was my number. And I always saw the Vegas, the numbers on.
Yes.
And the numbers on the slot machines was my credit score at the time. And I was able to use my credit to suffice for the cash I had in the bank to actually purchase my home. And so over the years, I've been in this home now for about 15 years, and it blows my mind. I don't think I've owned a pair of shoes, a bag, anything past 15 years before in my life. And I'm just so grateful that God has allowed me to do this, and that I have been a good steward over it thus far. It has its ups and downs.
Yes.
For the most part, it's still here.
But it's wealth of the land. It's wealth of the land. And like you said, the Bible even speaks about wealth of the land. You have, as long as you have that house, you have everything.
As long as you have a roof. And what I love about you, Stacey, is you now have something to pass on to your daughter. And what a blessing. Like this inheritance, it keeps on going. It outlives you.
It outlives you. Yes.
Everything that outlives us. And that you're like, there's no, like, you can die and leave your child a car, but that car ain't gonna last his whole lifetime. It's not, but it will outlive also your child. And you know what? I was even telling my husband, I've been so wanting for us to move and move and move, but I heard him yesterday. There's been a shift in my spirit that he's like, I just don't want to rent. I just don't want to rent. And I think I hear him now. I think I just heard it. I think a light bulb just went off in my, I'm so stuck on wanting to move that I'm like, well, it doesn't matter if we rent, you got to pay, mortgage or rent somewhere. You got to do this. I just so want to move and have a new experience with my husband that I'm not hearing what he's actually saying. He's saying, hello, let's continue the legacy of owning. If we want to move so bad, then let's buy. Then let's buy. And if we are not in position to buy right now because that credit ain't straight, we were just talking about Christina Johnson's show before my show came on. She talked about how to get your credit in line.
Yes.
Yes. This next 6 months, we need to be laser focused on credit so that the next time you guys are here with me, I'm telling y'all, I'm moving forward. We all starting today. Today is the day. What's today's date, y'all?
Today's the 21st.
Today is the 21st of September.
Of August.
Of August. Y'all know the way I travel, I just flew in yesterday. The way I travel, but today is the 21st of August. Today is the day that I start looking into insurance policies,
Yeah.
looking into...
I have a number for you too after the show.
Yeah, and I have a number for you guys too. We have another girlfriend who has she does car insurance, health insurance, life insurance, all types of insurance policies with State Farm. And I'm actually going to tell you guys a quick little story. Christina Johnson, who was on earlier, I know I keep bringing her up, but it is relevant. She got into a car accident, and thank God she was okay. Her car is in the shop, and everything is going on with that. And today is August 22nd. Everybody's like, it's 22, y'all.
Oh, is it 20?
When you're an entrepreneur and you travel as much as I do, I'll be like, what day is it? But thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. The 22nd.
Thank you.
We're starting. But I wanted to say that this State Farm agent that we know of came to the set of the accident, just like the commercial. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was fantastic that she was on the scene. When the police came, Christina said, the police said, your agent is here with you, just like on the commercial.
Wow, that was good.
State Farm is there.
Yes. Go State Farm.
But so we'll have a couple of numbers for you guys for insurance. But I'm on this. And my husband's gonna be so pleased that I finally am hearing. As I'm listening to Stacy, we're talking about generational wealth. He wasn't saying generational, but that's what he meant. He's like, I don't want to rent. I don't. The money's just going nowhere. And I'm like so excited about getting the move on that I'm not slowing down and watching the strategy.
Yes.
This show is about. If you don't have no strategy behind what you're doing, don't do it. If there's no reason, no purpose, nothing that is
intent. What is your intent?
What is your why? Why
Yes.
I want to move so bad, Brely. Why you want to move? Because I want a new experience. Well, that ain't big enough.
Right.
If you're not saying, I want to move because I want to make sure that this house is being rented out so we can start the business of this house and the next property we have so that we can start planning things for our children.
I love how you said business. I mentioned that in my video yesterday.
Please.
Owning a home is a business. It's a business. Whether you're married, whether you're single, running a home is a business. As I was getting this house together, because I'm getting ready to Airbnb, I was like, my grandmother used to tell me it's always something to do in the house. And I used to be like, what does she mean by that? Really?
Something to clean, that's for sure.
Homemakers are needed. Women are now homemakers. They go out to work and have to come home to do the homemaking, when really homemaking is a job in itself. You know, it really, 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 really is a job in itself. And so owning a home is a business. It is definitely a business. I love how you said that.
And I'm so excited. Well, a young lady on here, Exploration 77, you just blessed my heart and I love you. You said, you are the reason why I started wearing Fashion Nova. I am branding myself to encourage other women and young women to embrace who they are.
Awesome. Very awesome.
Don't have me on here crying. You know, I'm all about entrepreneurship in any form or fashion because I want people to live out their dreams. My girlfriend, one of my best friends in high school, used to work for Wells Fargo Bank. And I used to say, honey, you going in another day to live out Mr. Fargo and Mr. Wells' dream? Now, if banking is your dream and you can find purpose in that to help somebody else, by all means, go work for that bank.
Yeah.
But if you're going there to collect that paycheck and that's all you're going to do, and it's kind of a repetitive thing that you do every week, I need you to quit your job. She has since quit her job, by the way. Yoli and Alex,
I knew exactly. I knew you talking about you.
I applaud you. But so that's what water walking is all about. People say, what is this water walker thing? Well, water walking is getting out of the boat of your hopes and dreams and your desires that are in your heart. I want you to know you are not strong enough, wise enough, smart enough. You are nothing enough to put those desires down in your heart. God placed those things there because he had a purpose for your life when your mama met your daddy.
Yeah.
When that sperm hit that egg, baby, God already had a plan for your life. He needed your fingerprint to exist in this world for a purpose, for a dynamic, specific purpose. And it's not, sometimes it is to work at State Farm and help people sign up for their insurance because you do it in such a fashion that it just gets you going, and that
the ministry.
It becomes a ministry for you. If what you're doing is not a ministry for you, then it is a job. It is going nowhere fast. It is a just over broke
job.
Catch it. Just over broke. That's what it is. Until you get into that thing to help somebody else, allowing you to feel like you're not even working, that you're just sharing this thing, that you're just giving information away, that you're just, when I'm acting, I feel so free. Time stops. I don't eat. I don't care about what time it is. I could be on what time it is. I could be on set for 18 hours and look up and like, oh, we were here 18 hours. Didn't even feel like it. It's because
you love what you do.
It's when you love what you do. And I know that I have stepped into my purpose because it allows me the platform to come back and deal with you guys in a way that you respect what I do because you see my work out in the world. And then you come and listen and you hear what I have to say because you're like, this young lady is doing what she loves. She's making a couple of dollars at it. And I want to know how to do that too. Right. And how I can align with her. And that's why I employ all of you guys. Please, please, please rely on the gifts. My cousin Stacy, please, have you guys ever heard of XO Hair?
Non-surgical hair replacement.
Non-surgical hair replacement. Her gifts is in her hands. She does. Do you know that she does that for cancer patients, for people who have lost their hair due to chemotherapy and all this type of thing, or alopecia, and then she go and replace full head of hair. They can swim, they can part it, they can wash it, they can live a normal life because she's doing something with her hands. Imagine if she went and just got a job.
Writing with my hands. That's not what God said. He said right, but.
She has to use all her gifts. She also sings and songwrites. Like a lot of us are also multi-talented. And we're like, oh my God, I want you to start with one first. Stacey started with her hair business first.
Yes. Yes.
Where she's known for that. She has taken up some real estate in our minds. When hair is mentioned, you think Stacey.
Yes.
Okay. So that's part of your strategy. Make sure you're known for one thing first. Queen Latifah was a rapper first, before she became a jazz singer, a actress.
Yes.
Come on now. Oprah was a talk show host first, before she became our motivational, and she's really still, before she became our owning networks. Before
networks, right? Come on.
She was something dynamic and first. You guys know me as an actress first. And then you know that I sing, and although I was singing before that, this is what God has decided to be my big platform.
Yeah.
So I want to do those things first, and then I add in my other gifts. I so need to sneeze. I'm sorry. Woo! Woo! Sneeze. Woo. Pardon me.
Bless you. Bless you once, bless you twice, and 3 times. I feel another one coming on. It's another one.
Ooh,
I knew it.
Y'all bless me. Thank you so much. Bless me once, bless me twice, bless me in the name of Jesus Christ.
3, the Trinity.
So I just want to look on, you guys have been saying a lot of things. I'm sorry. We have a question here, Stacey. It says, how can I help promote you? Real talk, generational wealth. Wow.
Wow.
How can she help? She said, how can I help promote you guys? Real talk, generational wealth. So her name is Shervon Beerton.
Can she DM her number?
DM your number, Shervon. Make sure that we stay in contact with you, or DM an email address or something. We want to make sure that we keep in touch with you.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then there's another person who chimed in and says, hey, to walking on the water. Both is keeping your eyes on God despite the distractions that may be around. That's exactly what walking on water is. We want to make sure that we are not looking at our finances and where we are in life, because we don't know what God has around the corner. I would hate any of us to have to lose a loved one in order to gain, any kind of wealth.
Yeah.
That is happening every day. But let's be ready. Let us in our individual lives be ready. Let's not just hear this radio show and go about life as usual. Right now, I'm going to make a change, because I'm going to go in there and talk to my husband and say, you know what? Forgive me for being like, let's move, let's rent. Because just doing this show, my mind is open to,
yes.
Now I hear that he's trying to create some generational wealth with owning something. And am I forgetting? Sometimes you need people, you need conversations like this to remind you
yes.
how it goes, to remind you of what we should and should not be doing with our money. And it has to, sometimes, somebody tells you something. Oh, I got lipstick. Sometimes people have to, tell you something and you don't really hear it, but when you hear it from somebody else, it clicks.
Yes. It happens with my daughter all the time. I tell her things and she'll come back and say, Mom, I met a lady and she said the same thing you said. And I just go, thank you, Lord. Because you have to just let it go. You can't just ride it. I wanted to say something else too on the insurance topic of it all, of getting the insurance. In today's time, a lot of people are using GoFundMe as insurance, and that's okay, because sometimes people have unforeseen tragedies. But let me tell you, GoFundMe is not going to pay for your funeral and pay your house off. See, if you go and get real insurance, you can get a $100,000 policy. When you die, that policy will take care of your funeral and it will pay off your home. People get these $10,000, $20,000 policies. No, go for the $50,000 to $100,000 policy, so that when you pass, your family can take care of your final arrangements the way that is, and pay off any bills to not leave your family in debt. And so I think that in today's time, we're getting so used to starting GoFundMes and not getting our own insurance, and it's not even that expensive. So I would like to
when you say not that expensive, what do you mean? What kind of number?
On a monthly, like some of them are $30 a month. It's not expensive. Like they have one that is a over $100,000 policy, and you pay $100 a month, but you only pay for 10 months, and you're done. That's what I mean. Yes. So I'm going to give you that information so that you can pass it on.
Please, we definitely need to do this. So let's band together with our families and our friends. Let's start this dialogue amongst our friends. Do you have life insurance? Do you have life insurance? Do you have your will written out? Let's have some will writing parties while we're doing
parties.
While we're doing what are the dream board parties?
Yeah.
That's one of my dream boards. While we're doing dream board parties, let's have some will and what's it called? Living trust parties, where we're going to say, let's write it down, who gets what, so that there is no fighting amongst the families, because they know specifically where things go and how it's done, so that we don't have to hire these lawyers to fight on our behalf and then spend up our money.
Right.
Because we had to spend it all on
lawyer fees.
Lawyer fees. When Mama's clearly said she wanted you to have this, me to have that. Let's be clear about it. And so Stacey, I am so grateful that you came on today. Because this is such a huge topic, and I had to squeeze my buns. I had to squeeze my buns in my seat, because I didn't want you to ask me that question.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be put in the hot seat about where I was financially in my plans for life after death. I didn't want to talk about that. Yeah. So I'm mad at you, but then I'm happy that everybody who was listening in today, and watching the show, that, you have left this earth in this moment better than it was before. I am now better that we had this conversation.
Yes.
Like I said, I am now I have not been in the mind frame to get my credit together. I've just been like, I ain't looking to buy nothing. So, oh, well.
Now we got something to work towards.
So can you tell everybody very slowly to stay connected to you, how to buy your book, how to buy your soundtrack? Just tell us everything, please.
Okay, so
I want to hear it.
Yes, you can purchase the book at Amazon.com. And that book, if you, it's called Unstoppable in the Face of No Agreement. Stacey Hogg is the author, Hogg. I can be followed on Instagram at Stacey_AUDRIENE. That is Ardrian, y'all. Stacey_Ardrian. You can like my page on Facebook at Stacey Ardrian, AUDRIENE. And also, I think that's it.
Is that everything?
That's everything. Oh, no, it's not. You can catch the music soundtrack to Unstoppable on YouTube. You can catch it on Spotify. You can catch it on iTunes, Apple Radio, and all digital outlets. Just put in Stacey Ardrian. And like Brely said, if you can't remember that, put in Brely Evans, because she shows a part of the Unstoppable music project. Okay? And let me tell y'all a little secret. She's in my book.
I made it to the book, y'all. I made it to the book. I was also dynamic about Stacey. She's the first independent artist that I know of that has her own Pandora station.
Stacey Ardrian. Y'all check my station out. It's really getting better, cousin. I didn't like it at first, but it's getting better now as people join. So please get my station, Stacey Ardrian on Pandora. Thank you, cousin. I couldn't remember everything.
There's so much. That's why I said go slow and tell it all. Well, we love you right here on Brely Evans, on the Brely Show. It's Brely Evans Eddings. Right. On Water Walker Radio. We just want you to live your dreams. That's why we do what we do. We want you to be motivated to get out there and move something. We want you to have a testimony to tell somebody else, to encourage them to keep going. We want you to have the strategies to live a better life and live abundant now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. It's the Brely Show. It's the Brely Show. Thank you guys. Thank you, Stacey, for being on the show. Love you.
Oh, I have to say one more thing. One more thing to you. You're Brely Evans Eddings. So you are officially Queen B.
B-E-E. I'm officially Queen B. Beyonce, I got you again, girl.
Beyonce.
Love it.
Bye.
Bye. Whole 24 months I have been living with and learning a beautiful man of God. It's been an amazing whirlwind that I thought it would be just proper to share it with all of you guys, and those of you on your journey who are single, those of you who are married, and those of you who are in between, because I done found out that there is a such thing as being in between. I have some amazing guests on the line today that are going to be with us. First, I'm just going to jump in, like my pastor used to say, in the deep end of the pool, and we're going to jump right into this thing. First up, my very special guest is he's fine as wine, y'all. I know y'all done saw his picture all over my Instagram. And he's so sweet and kind, and he loves the Lord, actually more than he loves me. At first I was like, hold on, you're supposed to love me, but he loves the Lord first. And I'm just so blessed to have him in my life. He's the one that changed my last name. Mr. Eddings, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hey everyone.
Hi, husband. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, Pooh. You got to hear my sweet talk voice. Not only do I have my husband, but we have invited some of our village.